In 1793 in Wildbad, Germany, tragedy strikes a group of 13 people who were all sitting together to eat sausage together. And no, that's not a euphemism. They were actually sitting together to eat preserved meat stuffed in animal intestine. But just like me, after learning how blood sausage is actually made, they get rushed to the hospital with nausea, vomiting, and diarrhea, which progresses to difficulty in swallowing, blurred vision, and in the case of 6 of them, it ends up being a one-way trip. Now, these meat-related tragedies keep popping up all over Germany and Belgium, ultimately leading to the government issuing a warning about what they thought at the time was sausage poisoning. Justinus Kerner, who was a young physician at the time, is very curious about what's causing all of these symptoms. So he gathers data from all of the deaths which have occurred, and he comes up with a list of symptoms, their possible progression, and even theorizes that there was a so-called sausage toxin which was responsible for all of the deaths. He even postulates that it's causing some sort of nerve paralysis within the body, and goes on to predict that it will potentially, if used correctly, can have therapeutic uses in the future. But this Bacterial Nostradamus never got to see his predictions come true, because for the next 150 years, the bacteria causing these outbreaks gets isolated. It's labeled Clostridium botulinum. The toxin which it's producing gets called Botox, and it gets subtyped into 7 different varieties which are of varying properties and varying lethality. And it largely stays out of the limelight, apart from it being tested for a very brief period as a biological agent during World War II. Until the 1970s, because while the rest of the world is dealing with smallpox and what's going to happen with the Cold War, British ophthalmologists get sick and tired of trying to treat squints, because most of the surgeries that they were attempting weren't very successful, invariably ending up in recurrences. So what they do is they inject a diluted version of Botox into the overactive muscles around the eye, not expecting anything to come of it. But to their surprise, it's a huge success. Patients are very happy, and it fast tracks Botox to FDA approval in the 1980s, which pushes it into the medical spotlight. And while this is being used to treat squint, it's noticed that the skin where it's being injected into gradually starts smoothing out, making Botox a secret weapon in most beauty regimens, making dermatologists and plastic surgeons millionaires, and giving us the answer to the age-old question of how to turn a frown upside down. The answer is always a world-ending neurotoxin. And I've got to say that using something that dangerous just to look a couple of years younger is a little like turning on the Large Hadron Collider when you're a little bit chilly in the winter. But nonetheless, Botox over the years then picks up momentum for a number of less glamorous uses. It's often used in cases of severe bowel and bladder incontinence and severe muscle spasms. And current research even shows that it might be useful for resistant depression. But we can't talk about the good that Botox does without talking about the potential bad. Because in various circles, it's often quoted as one of the most lethal substances known to mankind, with the estimation being that even a gram of it, if properly prepared, can end about 1 million lives. But let's keep it positive. Let's focus on the good that Botox has done. Hope that it stays out of the hands of the enemies, but still continues to ruin Hollywood adaptations of classic English novels. And if you like stories like this, please do like and subscribe, and leave a comment to tell us what we should talk about next.